Hi everyone, back on here again as I have another evening to myself, so I thought I'd jump on. I'm still working through these Space Wolves. This is very close to finishing though. I mean, they're all. This is where we are now. The majority of it is done. I'm just going to be blocking in the silver, sort of the silver metallics, and yeah, there's a few other bits and bobs, but mostly done now. So pretty happy. They'll be done hopefully in the next couple of days, and then I can move on to the next thing. But yeah, it's been all good. So I just thought, yeah, just as I'm going to be working on them, I thought it might be nice to kind of just come on here and have a chat and see if anyone's about. So yeah, and yeah, it's been I'm pretty happy really because it's only been 3 weeks it's taken to get to this stage, so quite happy. Very nearly finished, which is great, and I'm pretty happy with how they've come out as well. Yeah, so it'd be nice to kind of just come on here and say hi, see if anyone was around. Been quite nice being able to get a few more of these live things done a bit more frequently recently. I've been, I say this every time, but just been super busy, and I've had to kind of put the long form videos on hold just for a little bit, just because I had a few other things I was working on. So I do feel bad about that, but that is coming. So I thought this is kind of just at least being able to jump on and do these lives is a nice sort of substitute, just to kind of keep things ticking along while I'm working on those. Um, so they're coming along. So yeah. Oh, hello everyone. Ah, there you go. Architects of Fate. Oh, hello man. How are you? Guy who draws. What are you painting? I'm painting some Space Wolves. These are not mine. There are. I've been working on these recently. These are part of a commission. Well, they are. It's basically that's the Space Wolf box set. So they're nearly finished now, and it really is just kind of the final touches at this point. And Is that better? Can you hear me now? Let me just double check. It should be working now. I think one of the I've got two microphones here, and one of them I think has run out of battery. So yeah, much better. Great, excellent. They're sort of the microphones are the external ones are sort of a new addition, so I'm kind of still getting used to them. So I think that one must need charging up. So yeah, I'll have to stick that on charge later. But yeah, I don't know if anything I just said was heard. Yeah, so I basically ended up going and using this voucher this afternoon that I got for Father's Day as a few months back for a massage at the spa my wife works at. I'm feeling it was nice sort of relaxed right now. Not something I said, not something I've done for like 10 years or something like that. I think it's the last time I did that. But it was nice. Not something I would normally do, but much needed spa day. Yeah, no, it was not. It was good. It was good. It's not like it's not normally my thing. I wouldn't normally do something like that, but sometimes it's nice and somebody sort of pushes you out of your normal sort of comfort zone. You know, you're going to do something different, try, and then it was good. So yeah, as I said, I'm not doing anything majorly exciting on these at the minute. It's really just a case of just these last few steps. I tend to leave all metallics ready to last on most things. So this is just basically just blocking those last few bits in, and then they'll get shaded and highlighted, and then that's it really. Just doing the bases, and we're done. And then I can move on to the next thing. Well, I need to get the videos finished, so I have a few other bits I'm working on, so they'll be done next. And then obviously this guy's part of this lot as well, but I've not really properly started. He's got some of the black. It's difficult to see there, but there's some airbrush highlights and things on there, and he needs working on for this as well. But that's a kind of, I've left him as a separate thing just because the colors are completely different. So I figured it would be easiest to kind of do him in one go all at the end. Yeah, how's everybody anyway? Anybody doing any painting while you're listening to me? Hope to finish my Tyranids and Wolf Priest and Logan this week. Okay, nice. Yeah, that would be that'd certainly be a good amount of stuff to get done. I've got to get these finished, and then I've got to finish what I started filming a couple of weeks ago that I put on hold because I wanted to kind of concentrate on this and just get this done and out of the way. Which is 50 Death Corps of Krieg infantry, which I'm sort of painting as one big batch paint, and they're about halfway done now at the moment. But yeah, painting 50 of them in one go is maybe not the most sensible way of doing it, but it is quick. Well, sort of anyway. It's a good way of just getting getting it done. But yeah, I'm kind of I'm filming that. But they're about halfway done now, and then I'll be able to get that done. So yeah, this is just all in the final stages, which is great. It's been all right actually. As I said, it's been quite a nice little. I've don't think I've ever painted any Space Wolves. I think this is the first ones that I've done. And these are really nice, these new ones. So they're quite, fun to work on. The only thing I haven't really enjoyed is doing those yellow shoulder pads. That took quite a long time to get those done. Painting yellow, just with a brush, not with an airbrush or anything. It's been nice. It's been a nice mix of things to do on them. Like being able to actually kind of spend a bit of time doing some of the the freehand markings and stuff, and they're just a bit more interesting than normal marines because you've got all the little bits and pieces on them, all the little extra decorative stuff, which does make them take a bit longer. And also all of these, apart from about 4 of the 20, are all bare heads as well. So I got a lot of nice practice doing faces as well. It's been a while since I painted any, so that was good practice. So yeah, it's been as a project, it's been quite nice. Some variation in it all. And especially painting the faces. I quite enjoy painting faces. So it's good to have a bit of practice there. Wolves are great. It's my first time painting Space Wolves too. Yeah, no, they are good. They are good. Are you doing the sort of just the classic scheme, or doing anything fancy with them? You may have shown me some photos of them actually at some point on the Discord. I can't remember. You probably have, and I've forgotten. So in which case, I do apologise. As I said, I've just been a little busy recently, so I've not been on there as much as I should do. I try and drop on there every now and then, at least once a day anyway. Yeah, all my YouTube stuff has been kind of neglected a little bit for the last few weeks, so again, I do apologise. Not yet on the Discord. Maybe later when we get home. I post my Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I've definitely seen the Tyranids you're doing. Was that you were painting the those, what are they called? The new ones, the Raveners. I seem to remember. Which are very nice. And I was quite tempted to see if I could get hold of them, but they were going for a bit too much for me on eBay. So I thought there might be a nice painting project, but they'll have to be another time, I think, maybe. In other news, I'm kind of I'm very much getting into the idea of starting playing Necromunda. I've kind of got chatting to some people that live locally, and they might be starting that out. So I haven't played it since the old, well, not the old, the old version from the 90s. So I used to really enjoy that. So I kind of potentially getting into that, which might be quite fun. Have a group of people actually play games with and stuff without having to kind of get into full 40K stuff, you know, full size games, which take forever, and you have to take a million things with you around to actually go to someone's, you know, to go to a venue or pub or whatever to play a game, you know. So I thought Necromunda might be quite fun, and they were looking at doing something with it, I think. So I sort of dropped a message and asked if I could join in. So there, that might be quite good. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I might, if I'm going to do it, I might just, rather than, because I've got so many other things that I need to be working on, I might just use some of my Gene Stealer cult stuff as models. So yeah, that way I don't have to buy anything new. I don't have to paint anything else. Just to kind of try it out. So that'd be good. And weirdly, I've got in the last sort of few weeks, like two sort of gaming venue places have opened up, like really close to me. One is like walking distance. I can walk there in about 5 minutes. It's only happened on the weekends. I don't know what that's going to be like, but I think they kind of more cater to like board games and things like that. But I think they have like gaming tables or places you could set stuff up there as well. So that's quite fun. And then there's a place that's properly dedicated, a dedicated gaming venue for, like, you know, Warhammer type games that is about 20-minute drive away, but still that's really close for me anyway. So that's quite good. I'm determined that this year I'm going to try and actually play some games a bit more with all this stuff that I've got that never gets used. I'm not that fussed about. I tend to do this more for the painting side, just for the sake of painting it, rather than for necessarily for using it in games and things. But it's nice to kind of just get them out and use them for what they were meant for. Just going to do my absolute best to make sure I don't miss any little bits on these, because all these little bits, you know, the metal and stuff. Evening all. Hi Ross, saw you were dropping live. Quickly say hi before I take the dog out for a walk. That's what's looking good. Oh, cheers, man. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dave. That's very good of you. Nice to speak to you. Yeah, I know we were talking a while back, weren't we? We should try and get, said, you know, try and get a game in or something at some point when everyone's available. As it's been a while. But yeah, nice to speak to you anyway. Hope you're doing well. And it's nice. I quite like the way these are looking in terms of I gave everything a matte varnish as well before putting the metallics on, so the metallics going to stay all nice and shiny, and they're going to really stand out more against everything else, which is I'm quite happy with. I'm not normally a big fan of painting metallics, I have to say, but isn't too much on these, so it's not too bad. And what we're using, this stuff, which is very good. I would highly recommend that. It flows so well. It's very easy to use. I'm checking my diary for the time. Free mid to late August. Yeah, man. I mean, let me know. If I can do it, then I'd be up for it, definitely. It's time for me to go. Okay, man. Well, very nice to speak to you. Thank you for joining. It's very, good to have a chat. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, all these the gold on stuff on the gold on these are going to get knocked back quite a bit because there's going to be a sort of a wash going on over there, and then they're going to build the highlights up a little bit, so they're not going to be quite as bright as that when it's all finished. I just want to get these metallics sort of blocked in first before I do any more of that, and then I can do all the washes in one go. So yeah, they're getting there. Also, I need to put some glow on these plasma. There's two plasma in here as well, so they need to be. I've got to put some glow effect on that as well to finish them off, which I mustn't forget about because I haven't added them to my list on the wall. I write everything on the wall, so I've got like a guide, so I don't forget things. And yeah, I've not written that on. Is anybody working on anything while listening to me talking to myself? Well, not talking to myself, talking to you. It sometimes feels like that when you're sort of sitting here by yourself. Quite excited to show you what I'm going to be doing next as well. I did get shown off a little bit in one of the lives I was doing a while back, maybe last week before. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And I've got a couple of other bits and pieces as well that need doing. But I've had, where are we? I've had these sent to me by a friend who I've done some work for in the past. I painted up a Tau army for him a while back, and so he's asked me to do these for him in sort of a custom, well, not custom, a silver skulls scheme. So this needs some converting and stuff. So they're sitting there ready to go. And there's a Warhound Titan as well under the desk, which is waiting for some paint as well. And that's another commission. Very busy. That's why these guys need to get finished. Plus, I don't like to leave these things lingering for too long, especially if it's if you're painting it as a commission. I like to do my best to try and get them done as quickly as reasonably quickly, so they're not hanging around for ages, and they just get them done, move them back. So find that's how I keep my motivation up. I kind of just keep going, keep going, keep going. If I sort of stop for too long, then I'll find myself wanting to move on to the next thing, you know. So I find if I just sort of keep my head down and just keep working at it, that doesn't happen. That the really the grimy towel. Yes, yeah, the sort of real dirty, sort of grey with sort of orange and black um, camouflage sort of pattern. Yeah. So um, it was the guy who's asked me to paint these Marines, plus and another guy who goes by Death Guard Dave on Instagram, and they're sort of quite. They were very much into sort of tournament play, so they asked me to do this Tau army that they then ended up taking to a sort of a doubles thing, and it was quite a big one. It was a bit. I kind of feel a bit bad about it because it took way longer than I sort of envisioned at the time. It took a lot. It was quite a big. It was a whole army, but a lot of stuff, tons and tons of Forge World things, and yeah, loads and loads of stuff. But I just was swamped with stuff at the time, not just like that, but like I was working full time and working weekends and had a second job in a couple of evenings a week, and I was painting that and trying to do everything else. So I had a real bit of burnout at that point, and that army just took, which I do feel a bit bad about, because if circumstances had been different, if circumstances had been more like how they are now, it wouldn't have taken anywhere near as long to get through. So yeah, just one of those things, unfortunately. But there you go. They seemed very happy with it anyway. I was very happy with it. I thought it looked great. I got some pictures of it all in one, all together when it was all done, and yeah, I was genuinely pretty happy with it. I've never really had an issue with sort of sending stuff back to people after I've painted. It's not. I don't sort of get like too attached to it, because I know it's not for me, and I didn't choose the color scheme and I didn't do all that, so I don't really have an issue with that sort of stuff. With sending it back, but yeah, I was proud of that one, actually. I have to say, he sent me some pictures out of it, since having it back. He's got it all in his cabinet, and yeah, yeah, quite proud of that one. A lot of work though. I think partly because a lot of it was Forge World stuff. It's a lot of Forge World resin, because I had to build. It had to be all built, and if you've heard Forge World resin, it can be a bit tricky. And also on top of all of that as well, they kind of, part of it was that they requested that everything was magnetized, so literally everything. The whole army was magnetized, and every single weapon option, and so obviously all of that added a lot of time. So every single weapon was painted, every single drone that came with it. It's a lot of stuff. But yeah, I was pleased with it. But as I said, it's just kind of a little bit bad that it took as long as it did. But there you go. The thing is, when you do these things and you paint all this stuff, is that as long as as long as you look after it, you've got it forever. Tag the next thing I'm painting. Boy got some of the kits recently for his birthday. I'm looking for inspiration. Oh, nice. Okay. We've got some of the warriors, breach, a couple of the characters, and some of the smaller. Oh, nice. Okay. So you haven't started, haven't worked a scheme out then for those. You're still sort of at that point. That's always a fun stage. That kind of working out what you're going to do with them. what colours you're going to do and all of that. I was quite like that bit. Doing a few tests and stuff and getting that worked out. I was just because I've sort of, as I said, in the process of painting this Imperial Guard army for myself, and I'd spent quite a bit of time getting those colours right and getting that scheme down so I could get through them without it being a chore. And I am pleased with them actually, how they're looking. Which will be on the channel soon. I keep saying this, but they will be. They will be. They were meant to be done. They were meant to be up. The video was meant to be up a while back, and it just hasn't. I just haven't finished it yet. What I need to do is quit my real job and just do this. That would be fun. If I felt like I could afford it, I would definitely do it. But it might not be the most responsible thing to do. But I'd have more time. I'd have more time to sit and paint and make videos. But yeah, who knows? Maybe one day. Not. It showed him some pictures of the blue ones, especially in city camp. Oh, okay. Can't remember exactly what they were called. Yeah, that could be quite fun. Do you have an airbrush? I can't remember if you've got an airbrush or not. But yeah, if you're going to do camo, then or have I misread that? Show me some of the pictures. You like the blue ones, specialised in city fighting, apparently. Oh, okay. No, I misread that. For some reason, I read camouflage or camo. I don't know why. I was going to say, yeah, if you've got an airbrush, that makes doing the camouflage stuff a hell of a lot easier. I don't know where I got camo from. Must have, yeah, completely misread that. Yeah, so that deathcore stuff, as I said, will definitely be on the channel soon. I keep sort of threatening to do it and put them up, but yeah, it's time. I have all these ideas in my head of things I want to do. But yeah, time is always the issue. It's always finding the time to do it. But I think that's the same for everybody, though, isn't it? Really. I can show actually. Do you know what? I could show them to you actually. One moment, if you're interested. Where are we? There is a box up here with all of them in, which I'm not going to show the whole lot because it's embarrassing. It's a complete mess. But basically, I currently have 50 of them at this point. I don't know whether you can see that. So they're kind of all the base is done. They just need they need an oil wash and they need some shade, some highlights and things. But they're kind of usable, I think, as they are. That was kind of the point. Is I wanted to kind of get them all done to the point where I can put the basing stuff on, and then I can kind of add to them and do all the highlights as I go. And they're kind of they're kind of usable. But yeah, 50 of them up to that stage, and then there is 10 of them that are finished. So there's one of them. It's more the base isn't quite done, so there's some snow on there, but that's more how they're going to look when they're completed. So yeah, there will be a video up on these soonish when it's all done. And then I've got to do all the rest of it, all the horses and the command squad and all of that as well. In this huge box full of half finished guardsmen that sits on top of my shelf. But yeah, that's kind of this year's personal project. And again, another one that I'm really enjoying. Just determined to get them done, but I want to get all the infantry done first because that's kind of what I bought. I bought all of the infantry, or the vast majority of it anyway, in one go, and then later on I'll kind of do the tanks and things, and again try and put a bit of money aside to kind of over a few months to kind of get everything, and then buy them all in one go and try and paint them all in one go as well. Keep it all nice and consistent, and yeah, that's the plan anyway. Have a nice little gaming army with them. And I'm quite pleased with that scheme as well, because it's kind of how I want it to look, but it's also quite forgiving in terms of getting through them quite, not quickly, but at a decent enough pace that I'm not going to be still painting them and in years to come, you know, and get through them at a decent pace without them being rushed. How many points will I have complete? I think I've got what the guard stuff I've got at the minute of all the infantry is about 1,000 points, I think. Just of so there's six 10-man squads of the infantry, and then there's like a command squad. They've got some of the Death Rider horses, and three of the big artillery cannon things. What else is in there? There's a few other bits and pieces. I'm adding an Inquisitor in there as well, and as part of it is all going to be done sort of as part of that army, just for character, you know. There's a few other bits as well. There's some engineers in there, and there's a few other things that I've forgotten about. But yeah, it's about, I think last I checked, I think it's about 1,000 points. I'm quite happy with them so far. There's something very appealing about a guard army, that with loads of infantry. Because in my mind, that's kind of what it should look like, you know. One of those things that I always wanted as a kid, actually, back when they were all metal and I couldn't afford them. I can't afford them now, to be fair, but it's still a bit more achievable now. Right, what's that 4 done? Let's do this guy. It's a bit more interesting. I'm quite happy with this one. I don't know what the light's like here. does feel quite bright on the screen, but hopefully you can see it okay. Yeah, it's been sort of all go here. It is a shame actually, because I wish I could devote a bit more time to doing all of this and getting, you know, to the channel and things. It's just not possible, unfortunately. I do love it. I do love doing this, but I'm incredibly fortunate to have that. But yeah, just wish you could have a bit more time to devote to it. But there you go. You go through these busy periods, don't you? I can't believe that my none of my kids have come downstairs yet. No one's woken up. Baby's not cried. I put her down about 6 o'clock, and she's gone straight to sleep. Hasn't made a sound since I left her. And the two boys have actually just gone to bed. And I'm hoping they're asleep, but no one's come downstairs yet, or whatever. Two storm lords to drive them around when and that's it's not a bad idea. Yeah, that would be quite fun. Yeah, two big super heavy tanks, and yeah, that could be quite fun. I've definitely got going back to that deathcore army that I'm working on. I've got my the plan is to use the heresy, what they call the solar auxilia tanks, the Lima Russes from that, which have that sort of they have a bit of a different look. I much prefer the way they look to the normal 40k Lima Russ, which is still nice kit and everything. It's not I don't like it. It's just that it's sort of those heresy ones are more like the Forge World resin ones that you can't get anymore. Same design, isn't it? The only thing is they don't have the sponsons. They don't have sponsons on the side. So I've found some sort of third party things that allow you to put the internal sponsons on the side of them. So yeah, the bit of conversion work, but I think it'd be worth it because they just look really nice and seem quite fitting. So yeah, so I'm going to go down that route with those when I get to that point. Anyway, not buying any other bits for it until the rest of it's finished. It's been pretty good. I've been pretty good. I've not bought anything for a long time. It's really just that deathcore stuff. Actually, that's the only thing I've really got of my own that needs doing. Edmund, really like the new models. I usually do AOS thing with kit bashing. So yeah, go for it. Yeah, why not? Why not? They're nice models. These, I've got to say. I've not in the past not really been a big fan of Space Wolves, but I have to say I do quite like these. Something about this, something about the I don't know. It's just never really appealed to me that much. But I do. Yeah, these new kits are really nice. I don't think I would have bought them myself. Just because they're not just well, I've already got a Marine Army and but it's been it's been nice to be able to actually get to paint them and see them in the flesh and stuff. But I'm not sure. It's never been of the the main chapters. They're not my not a favourite of mine. But they have done a good job on these new ones, I have to say. They are very nice. Just adding that silver really does help to sort of finish them off, I think. What do you usually paint? All sorts, anything and everything. I hate. I've got quite a big collection of my own stuff, and I've painted a lot of stuff for other people over the years. So just yeah, anything and everything really. I get a bee in my bonnet about doing these different projects, and then I start something, and I'm pretty good at finishing them, but just yeah, I'm not like I've started. I would just have that one army or whatever. Because the thing is, it's not. I don't really buy this stuff with the intent necessarily with the intention of using it for games. It's more just I like just to have them and to paint them, and yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I do things anyway. I just like to collect them and just have them and paint them and go through that whole process. And then they go into boxes and. But the thing is, once you've done it and you painted them, then as I said earlier, you've got them. Then they're yours, and you can do what you want with them after that. Either using the games or stick on a shelf or whatever. I don't know. The main one I've got is I think my main army would be the Necrons if I had to choose one. That's the one I tend to use for games, just because it's the most sort of fleshed out as an army. I've got my monolith here up on the shelf that is still yet to be used in a game. Sorry, messed up there. It's dried already. It's going to need a bit of a touch up, but we'll sort that out. We'll sort that. I totally agree with the whole painting aspect, but I think generally AOS are more dynamic sculpts, more personality. But I've realised no. To be fair, the AOS stuff they do have some lovely stuff. I've not kind of branched out to that yet. I have to say I've not really I've not painted any. It's definitely something I'd like to do at some point. Again, it's just having the time to do it. I have all these other projects on the go, and I don't think I would collect an army of AOS stuff. I don't think I would feel a need to have like a big collection. It might just be like, you know, one or two, or like, you know, paint one sort of decent big centerpiece thing just for the sake of painting it. That might be quite fun. Was it Dave? I think tennis spots from Beyond the Tabletop, they were really good. No. Oh, are they? I don't know. I found some on. Where did I find them? It was either on eBay or Etsy. I can't remember now. One of the two. I found somewhere anyway. There's a few different places that do them. So I'm not sure the quality of them or anything like that. But I'd say I've not bought them yet. It's just I kind of did a bit of digging around to make sure it was going to be easy enough to get hold of them if I went down that route, you know. So I'd want to use the guns that come with the plastic Gleam Rust kit, you know, for the sponsons, for the 40k one, and then have them on the sort of internal sponsons on the things. I know exactly what I want it to look like. It's just yeah, it's just getting to that stage. But as I said, I'm kind of I've got that in my head, but it's very much put to one side until all the infantry's done. Which I don't think would actually take too long to get them all done. It's just finding it's just working around all these other things that I've always got on. But that's kind of a nice thing as well. You're not just rushing through it, and then it's all finished, and you know. Because I want to be happy with it and proud of it when it's done. How do you do the yellow on the? So the yellow is that's literally just Avalanche Sunset, which is this one. It's just that, but about I hate to think it's probably about eight really thin coats over each one. That took so long to get that yellow one. If I had built these, if they were mine and I'd built them, and or if I was painting for somebody else, and built them myself, I would have left the pads off and I would have done those separately with an airbrush, because basically all of this they all came to be built, which is fine. It's a time saver. Don't have to build them, but doing separate little elements like that, like those shoulder pads, and you know, obviously the red on these ones as well, would have made life a hell of a lot easier if they were separate. So they were brush painted. So yeah, it's basically just like a ton of really thin coats of Avalanche Sunset until got a solid coat of it. Which, if you've ever painted yellow, is it's doable, but it just takes a long time. But if I'd had an airbrush, or if I'd been able to use the airbrush, I could have done it in a fraction of the time. And I also could have done a bit more, something a bit more interesting with it, because I could have put some shading on it and stuff, and airbrush highlights and things. But I didn't want to kind of go down that route, because then there's a risk of messing the rest of the armor up, or also then wasting time kind of masking things or whatever. So I kind of just figured we're just gonna keep that flat color, just for simplicity. But yeah, just lots and lots of very, very thin coats. You can add a coat of pink and then use yellow contrast. Yes, I've never tried it myself, but that method I have seen done, and yes, it does look really nice. Yeah, putting pink underneath and then yellow, what do I want to say? Contrast paints over the top does work very nicely. I do like kind of playing with that sort of stuff, actually, like using different colors underneath things, and then putting contrast over the top and seeing what it does. You can get some nice results. Like, you can't really see it on these, but at the moment, anyway, it's kind of difficult to tell. But they underneath, they've got sort of a, they were sprayed black first, and then they've got a really light sort of brown underneath over the top of the primer before the blues went on. And again, I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but you can, they've got more of a zenithal thing going, and I kind of put the brown on to sort of soften it a little bit rather than just being black, which made the sort of blue grey come out a bit nicer, and yeah, it worked quite well. So that black one might, I don't know, it might have just been a bit too harsh on the underneath. Yeah, I definitely could have saved a bit of time if I could use the airbrush to do those water shoulder pads. There you go. Got there. There's a good few evenings of just sitting there doing that. Actually got them, yeah. As I say, there shouldn't be too much more to do on these. This really is the last sort of step. Which again, I'm pretty happy with. It's been 3 weeks, taking 3 weeks to get to this point, which I think is pretty good. For how much is actually here is, I think that's a decent time scale to get to this stage. I've got to go. Thank you and goodbye. Love the live. Look great stuff. Cheers, man. Thank you very much. Nice to have you here. Thank you very much for joining. I know these lives are not the most exciting thing in the world. They're not, they're not the most sort of action-packed things, but I do appreciate you guys sort of coming on and having a chat and stuff and keeping me company. Because the thing is, I'd be sitting here doing this regardless. I'd be sitting here just painting. So it's nice to kind of just be able to have a bit of interaction with people, and it does help to keep me motivated. Sorry, yeah, I've gone a bit quiet there again. I tend to do that sometimes on these. have to say I am incredibly tired right now. I had a really hectic few weeks with work, like my sort of my full-time job. I have to say I'm definitely, I don't know. You ever get that feeling, like it gets to that point with something, like with a job or whatever, you're just sort of thinking, I'm not sure. You're not sure how much you want to keep doing it. Up until quite recently, I've been quite happy there, really. But I've got to say, there's a few things going on at the moment that you start questioning yourself, how much you actually want to keep doing it. Yeah, kind of a bit drained with it all. But I think everybody gets that, don't they? All right, how many is that? That's 6 of them. 6 with all the silver on. We're getting there. Walls already done. Don't worry about them. They're finished. Let's do this guy because he's got the gems on as well. I do like these ones, I have to say. These are nice. They're sort of essentially Space Wolf themed blade guard, aren't they? I think you kind of. I'm sure they've got different rules and stuff, but like in terms of what they do, or the way they look anyway, it certainly seems to be what they're intended as. It's nice just getting that extra colour on as well. It does really help to finish them off, bring them all together. Is anyone else painting while you're listening to me? Anyone working on anything exciting? No. Right, I'm going to switch that brush because I'm going to use this one. So again, this is why I really like these metallics, because they just flow so nicely. You find some of the Citadel ones, the Games Workshop ones, are a bit sort of they can be a bit sort of thick and they don't sort of flow very well. Whereas these are just so easy to do these big flat areas like this. Makes a hell of a difference. That will need another coat, but a bit of tidying up as well, but there you go. I do like using them. I'm doing some trying AK Streak and Grime, Dirty Down, Moss and Rust for the first time. I've never tried those. I've Streak and Grime, yeah. I've never tried the Dirty Down stuff, the Rust and whatever. Seen it used a lot, but yeah, it looks good. I've seen people kind of like don't you have to heat it up or something like to get you can get different effects when you stick a hairdryer on it and things. But yeah, I've seen it. It looks good. Has some nice you can get some nice effects from it. I wish I'd had that moss stuff when I started my Necrons. I think that would be quite useful. I've got the scheme down now too much, so I don't think I could add too much to them now. They'd stand out a bit too much, but I think I can see that would have been quite useful. I've actually got this on the screen. Sorry, I'm moving this a bit too close to too close to me. What time is it anyway? God, 20 to 10 already. Jesus, where's that going? I've heard about that heat. Mainly got them for my Necrons, trying to make them look a little dirty and look like they've been under the sea for a long time. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. No, that would work really well, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, the sort of the undersea thing. I do like your Necrons. I'm a fan of them. I think they look really good. I hate to think how long it must have taken to do all those bases though. So for anybody listening, Dave has got who's on the chat there. He has a very nice Necron army, and they're kind of themed, sort of like like they've been under the water, under the sea, like they're coming out of the water, and he has all these resin poured bases on them, and yeah, it's quite a commitment, and they look great, and they look really good. It's a great idea, and yeah, but God, I don't think I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would have the patience to do it. All those little resin pores and all those individual bases must have taken you ages. Looks great, obviously, but yeah, a lot of work, a lot of dedication there. Sorry, I've done it again, haven't I? So it's just gone all quiet. I forget I forget to keep talking. Do I need to keep talking all the time? I don't know. I'm still kind of feel like I'm quite new to doing this. Because I have to admit, I don't really watch a lot of live streams myself, so I'm not quite sure what the normal thing to do is. I get quite engrossed in what I'm doing. I forget to keep talking. As I said, it's nice. It's nice to have. It's nice to have a bit of company while I'm sitting here doing this, while I'm working. It's been good being able to do it a bit more often recently. And yeah, sort of changing the subject. But the other thing I was really tempted with recently was the that new heresy box, because I really like all the stuff in there. I've got a bit of a bug at some point to want to do a marine heresy, marine army at some point. I'd quite like to do that, but I was sensible. I didn't buy anything. But one day I will do a heresy army. That's on the list of things to do at some point in the future. I don't think I'd ever play. I don't think I'd ever actually use it for but just to paint it, just to have it. I think it'd be a fun project to do. Because I've read a lot of the books, and yeah, I can kind of. I definitely got a bug for that at some point. I will do it. I'm not sure which legion I would do. Maybe Imperial Fists, I think. Just because I like the way they look, and so they're the heresy ones. I think that might be quite fun. But yeah, that'll have to wait. I just I've got to say there's some nice looking models. Oh, thank you very much, man. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Well, thanks for joining as well. That's very good of you. Yeah, as I say, I'm quite pleased with them so far. I have to say I'm flagging a bit right now. I'm feeling like the day is kind of catching up with me. But I don't know. I'll keep going for a little bit longer. I'll get a bit more done. I always regret it if I stop too early, in the evening. Don't do enough work on them, and then or whatever it is I'm working on. I'll always regret it and think, oh, you could have done a bit more. And it is, although, as I said, it has been quite a fun little project doing this sort of batch painting like this can be a bit tricky at times. It is quite easy to kind of lose your motivation just because you end up doing the same thing over and over again. But it is the fastest way of getting through these things. I don't think there's any doubt about that. This is the way to do it, is to do each bit at a time, and work through all of them in one go. But the problem, yeah, it's just it can be a bit tricky to do. Yeah, definitely the fastest way. Definitely the quickest way of getting through these. And I quite like doing it as well for the channel. When I've done like the videos I've done for the Tyranids and stuff, and because I think there's a lot of, and like, I'm guilty of it as well because I have done this. I do it quite a lot where you show off a tutorial or a scheme or something, and then you paint one, you paint two or whatever in a video, and it all makes it look very easy or quick or whatever. And I think it happens a lot on tutorial type videos and things or channels, and it doesn't necessarily give a realistic picture about what that actually looks like in terms of time and how easy it is to actually get it done if you're doing like a whole army of them, or even like a whole, just a 10-man squad or a box or whatever. So I have tried in the past, and I'm sort of working towards that as well at the moment, to kind of just do that a little bit more often, just kind of just show that whole process, and try, because I think you can make things easier on yourself, but you can't. They're not going to paint themselves. These things are always going to take. It's always going to take time. You can make things. There are time savers, but you're never going to. It's not kind of an instant. They're just going to be painted. So I am trying to work towards that a little bit more on videos and stuff, to kind of just show this. Do whole big batches of things, or do the whole 10-man squads or whatever, and just going to give a bit more realistic idea of what it takes to do that, rather than just, it's very easy to paint one guardsman and make it look nice and whatever. If you want an army of them, you have to paint 100 of those. So you have to be realistic in what you're actually gonna, what you can and can't do. You know, if you're ever gonna get them finished. I hope. Well, I hope all that makes sense. Now I sort of feel like I'm rambling, but hopefully what I just said makes sense anyway. Man, we should. Cheers from Texas. Wow. Okay, that's that's a fair distance away. But thank you for joining. I'm going to start painting grey hunts tomorrow. What kind of brushes do you use? I use a mix of very cheap. These ones are absolutely destroyed, but I like using these. These are Da Vinci ones. This one has been completely ruined, so ignore that. But these are super cheap synthetics for doing base coating stuff. And as I say, this one's got wrecked from other things. But then for the decent stuff, for all the detail and things, I use these, which they've not got anything written on them, but they are Winsor and Newton Series 7. This is a size 1. Size 1 and a size 0. Yeah. Winsor and Newton Series 7. Best. The absolute best, in my opinion. I've yet to find a better brushes. They're just the best. They're not cheap, but they're just the best. I when I started using them, which I've been painting for been doing it for a few years, but then I kind of upgraded and started using these better quality brushes and stuff, and I just found that what I was able to do, just my painting just improved massively. I found. I'm not saying if you're only just getting started, don't go out and buy super expensive brushes. That's really not a good idea. But when you feel like you've got it down a bit and you're kind of feeling a bit more confident, then definitely upgrade and get some. I would highly recommend these. They're so good. And I've used a few other kind of brands that I've liked, but the more sort of premium ones, but these are just head and shoulders over anything else that I've used. I should paint like that. I'm new to Warhammer. I currently have orcs and thinking about Custodes for a second army. Orcs are really nervous. The orcs are really nervous about painting. Why nervous about painting the orcs? They are a really fun army to paint, orcs, because you can do so much with them. You're not constrained by anything. You have to paint a lot of them. I had an orc army until sort of about a year ago. I sold it because I was in need of the money, and at the time I wasn't really using them that much. But they are a really good army to paint. They're fun because you can do all sorts of stuff with them, and if you make mistakes, it doesn't really matter because everything's meant to be a bit sort of battered up anyway, and you get to have all sorts of fun with doing rust and grime and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to keep everything all nice and pristine and clean and things. Yeah, don't be nervous about painting orcs. The other thing as well, the orcs, because they are quite what's the best way of putting it? They're kind of they're very they have a lot of sort of organic stuff. So there's a lot of the skin, and they have all the leather and all of that sort of stuff. So they work really well with painting with contrast paints and things as well. So yeah, I wouldn't be nervous about painting orcs. The only thing to be aware of is just how many of them you'll actually have to paint. You have to paint a lot if you want to. If the intention is to use them for an army. And then the other one you've chosen, Custodes, is the second one. Again, really good fun to paint, very easy to paint. You don't, and with the opposite is you don't need many of them if the intention is to use them for an army for gaming. But yeah, I've got a little Custodes collection, and yeah, I haven't added them for years. I haven't added any new ones, but they were good fun. I enjoyed painting them because you can you can get a lot done really reasonably quickly on them because it's all sort of one color, and depending on how you go about it anyway, what sort of how you want them to look, you can you can kind of you could potentially knock them out really quickly if that's the goal anyway. As I said, it's not all about just kind of just getting them out done really quickly, but you can be efficient with them, I think is a better way of putting it. Yeah, I do have I've got a little Custodes army, and I mean very small really, but I kind of put it on hold because I haven't added to them for years, and then because I kind of moved on and got working on something else or whatever at the time, and so they kind of got forgotten about a bit, and then I've sort of decided that I'm going to leave them until I'm convinced that they're going to bring out all the current, all the resin stuff, all the dreadnoughts and all of that sort of stuff is going to come out in plastic at some point, and then when that happens, then I'll go back to them and add to them. That I can show you. This was actually part of the Custodes army, but it's not a Custode. This is part of it. It's a little dusty. This guy. So this was part of the. I painted this years ago. But yeah, this is kind of what the Custodian army looks like, but instead of the rest of them are red instead of the purple. And he's very dusty actually. He's a bit of a clean. But yeah, they're kind of like this sort of like tarnished gold. I'm not sure how well it shows up on the camera, but I did this a long time ago, so I think my painting sort of improved, but I still quite like this guy. So he gets a special place on the shelf. I think it was done a while back, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with him. So the idea is that he'd be added as a little extra on the army. So one day I'll go back to them. Right, sorry, where was I? That's painting this. I have to say, I'm tempted to just kind of do like half of these with get the silver on, and then just do the washes and all of that, and highlight them, and have half of them complete. And I can put them in, stick them away, and then do the rest. Kind of break it up a little bit. But not the most efficient way of doing it. But I don't know. I might do that. Just to break this last sort of step up, really, because they're only going to go back in the box and be sent back. So Supersonic 89, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Thank you for joining. You're very welcome here. What drew to Spaceballs? Money. Sorry, no, these aren't mine. I'm painting them as a commission, so I didn't buy them. They were sent. They were sent to me. I do a bit of painting for a studio in the UK called Gilded Skull Painting. So feel free to go and look them up. It's just kind of like a part-time thing. I just do every now and then. Because I quite enjoy doing it. It's nice it's a nice way of earning a bit of extra money, and also it's good practice because you kind of get in, you do things that you wouldn't normally work on. So yeah, so these aren't mine. They're going to go back to their owner when they're done. But as I said, I've enjoyed it. I've just realised I've not painted the hilt on his sword. That needs doing. Well, that'll have to be added to the list. That will need doing. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about doing these little projects, these commissions, is that you get to do things that you wouldn't normally do. Because as much as I like the models, I wouldn't have bought them because there's other things I'd rather use for my time, for my personal stuff. So yeah, they are nice though. I kind of tempted maybe the few of them to kind of work out a way of customizing them a little bit to go with my own chapter. I've got my own personal one because my custom ones use the Space Wolf symbol as their sort of chapter symbol, and they're not all covered in all the wolf stuff. They're a bit more sort of vanilla in terms of all the bits and bobs on them. They don't have all the extras, but I think I could maybe convert a few of these. Something to think about anyway. Maybe some of the Terminators, maybe, or something like that. Might be quite fun. Do them in my own chapter colours. No, it's not a bad idea actually. I hadn't really considered doing that, but yeah, maybe I'll do that one day. I'm currently working on synthwave inspired Eldar at the moment myself. Blue armor and pink helmets, yellow weapons. Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, that sounds good. I've never had Eldar. I've painted a few models. I've never had like an army or anything. Painted some bits for other people, and I did have a few when I was younger, like just for painting, but never had like an army or anything. There's some nice stuff. They do have some nice models. A while back, I painted a avatar for the Eldar one. It was I don't think they do it anymore. The resin one, the Forge World one. I painted that for somebody as a commission a while back, and that was fun to work on. And paint it was all sort of painted as if it was made out of molten metal, all kind of glowing from the inside and stuff. I quite enjoyed that. I like doing those big sort of one-off models. You get to kind of go to town on it and make it all, spend a bit of time on it, I fancy a change from my Crimson Fists in order to push myself painting wise. I'm actually working on Avatar. Oh, there you go, working on Avatar. Yeah, why not? That's always a good thing to do. Just push yourself a little bit and try something new, try something different that you've not done before. Always a good thing. big advocate for that. It's try not to just do the same thing over and over again. Just learn something new. What time is it? It's gone 10 o'clock now. Right. I think. How long have we gone on here? Oh wow, quite a while. So, what edition and age do you become involved? I got into Warhammer as a kid. How old would I have been? 12 or 13, something like that. And that was second edition. So I'm showing showing my age. And a friend of mine brought some stuff into school, and I kind of fell in love with it, and yeah, and I stuck with that for a good while, and then did the classic thing of I didn't sort of fall out of love with it or anything. I just kind of moved away from it and kind of went to university and discovered alcohol and a load of other stuff, and just put it to one side really. And I kind of picked it up. I've told the story quite a few times on videos and stuff, but I mean, I kind of, just in case you're not aware of it, but yeah, basically just before we had all the lockdowns and stuff, um, early 2019, I think it would have been. Yeah, it would have been. My wife was pregnant with our second baby, and at that point, I kind of decided, well, I needed a hobby which wasn't sort of going out and drinking and being stupid, something quiet where I'd be at home a lot, and so I sort of rediscovered this back, so early 2019, just because, yeah, I just thought I need a hobby that I can sit and it's just gonna be quiet, and I'm gonna be at home looking after our second baby, and we already had our first was still really young at the time. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. Really, kind of just got back into it through that, and the idea was to buy a few bits and pieces and have something to paint at home, and just have a nice quiet hobby. And then it all kind of snowballed, and here we are. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very glad I got back into it, I have to say. It's one of those things that it was always sort of in the back of my head that I kind of wanted to get back into it. Because I never sort of fell out of love with it. It's just kind of I don't know, for whatever reason, I just kind of moved away from it and started doing other things. Yeah, but I'm very glad I got back into it. It's become a real passion of mine, and I love it. I love doing this. I love sitting here painting, and I love just having that. There's something so nice about having that final result. When you've finished you have it's so difficult to explain. What is it? It's kind of like having you really have something to show for it at the end of it. Like it feels like a real achievement when you've got this, a completed painted army, and it all looks how you want it to look, and you're really happy with it. And I used to spend my real hobby used to be video games, and I spent so much time doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was people sit and watch rubbish on the TV, and that never gets questioned. But if you spend all your time playing video games, people question it. but I used to spend all my time playing video games, and that's great, and I really enjoyed it, and I used to love doing that. I don't do it anymore, although I'd like to try and get back into it at some point. But the problem I don't know, I kind of found that you sink all that time into it, and then I don't know, I didn't have anything to show for it at the end, I suppose. I don't know. That's just my personal thing anyway, but there's something about this that's this sort of real. You can, it's there. You've got it forever. You know, it's difficult to explain. Hopefully, you know what I mean. You kind of, once you've painted it and you've got it and it's there and you've got it for you know. You can, I don't know. I'm sort of rambling now, but it sort of feels like a real proper achievement to me, and it makes me. It genuinely does make me happy, and it relaxes me, and yeah. This is basically what I do really. I don't really do anything else, which sounds really doesn't sound good. But outside of my outside of working and my spending time with my kids and my family and doing all of that stuff, this is what I spend my time doing. I don't watch the TV. I don't play video games. I don't I don't really do. I don't. This is what I do with my sort of my downtime. Is just doing this because I just really enjoy it. Close to my age was 11, third edition. Saw my friends Dark Angels and love Space Marines, and still do, to be fair. I also have some Seraphon that I've recently painted, which I painted. Oh, very nice. Oh, that's all good, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it can be. It's a great hobby. It really is. I would recommend it to anybody, even if you're just going to do it. Like, you don't have to get as serious as I am with it. Or I mean, there are other people that go way beyond where I am with it, but it's a really nice hobby. I'd recommend it to anyone if you just need an outlet and a bit of downtime and be able to just turn your brain off a little bit and just concentrate on something like this. I find it very um, therapeutic, you know. And as I say, just having that, it's such a tangible thing to be able to hold it and have it in your hand and know it's done. I mean, like this. Hang on, where is it? Where are we? Like, just as an example, being able to. These aren't quite finished because a few of the bases aren't done. But this is my Gene Stealer cult, and I'm really proud of them. And I think, and they're all done and they're painted, and I've got this forever. You know, these are mine, and yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice feeling to have them all done and and painted and being happy with them and whatever. And I've got that forever. You know, um, they're sort of there's something very. It's just something about that makes me really happy having them, and just I'll probably never use these in a game. I might do one day, maybe. Who knows? But I'm just having that there. It just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm talking nonsense. I don't know. But just having there's something about that just knowing that they're there and I've got them and I've painted them and it genuinely does make me happy. But as I said, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll actually use them in a game. As I said earlier, I'm potentially starting Necromunda with a group of people that live nearby, and rather than buying and painting a gang and all of that, I might just go down the route of just using Gene Stealer Cult for it, just because I've already got the models and they're already painted, and I don't have to buy or do anything else with them. I've already got them there, so if nothing else, I can use a handful of them for Necromunda, so that might be quite good. I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm I'm sort of hanging back a bit in this. I'm in a WhatsApp group, and with some people. I've met a couple of them in person. I went for a drink with, and they seemed like very nice people. But I'm kind of, I don't want to get too involved in the kind of organisation of it. I just want to kind of, I feel like a bit of an outsider of this group because they all sort of know each other. So I'm kind of just hanging back a bit and just going to let them organise. And if I can make it along, I'll make it along and give it a go. Because I used to play Necromunda with a group of friends when I was younger, like the old 90s one. Apologies if I'm sort of repeating myself if you were here earlier, but yeah, and so I kind of got the bug of it. I want to kind of start that and give that a go. As a hobby, I find it so rewarding and gives me such a sense of accomplishment. Also happy how accessible it is. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's exactly the same sort of feelings that I've got. It just gives me just give me a feeling of accomplishment, like I've actually achieved something. I've got something to show for it. You know, you actually have something there, and you can hold it, and it's yours, and you've got it forever. And I really I like that. And as you say, the fact that it's actually accessible, so much more accessible than it used to be. Like when I first got into this is like pre. I mean, I know the internet existed, but it was pre people having it, in your house as a sort of standard thing. And even if you did, you didn't have. There was no like tutorials and videos. You couldn't just Google something and find out how to do something or whatever. So if you wanted to paint things, you had to kind of just teach yourself, really. And again, I'm showing my age, but just having the access to all the stuff that's available now, all those resources, and people putting videos out on YouTube and just everything. This is so great. It's such a great time to be part of it and to get into it. Because there's just, I mean, when I was a kid, it was literally just like, hang on 1 minute, my baby's monitor is making weird noises. 1 moment, just gonna restart it. But what was I saying? So yeah, when I was a kid, all we really had was I had maybe like once a month. My dad would maybe take me to where the Games Workshop was because you couldn't just walk. It was like I had to drive into a couple of towns over to get to it. And the only other resource was White Dwarf that came out once a month. And that was it. And I had a subscription to that, and used to sort of sit and pore over that when that came out. But now if I want to find something, I can find it, and it's all there, and the stuff that people do. And this is partly why this is partly where all this started from. I got onto, after kind of getting into it, I kind of set up an Instagram account just because I wanted to start posting some pictures of what I was working on when I first got back into it, and I found it was really, the posting my own pictures and stuff was just kind of really just about documenting what I was doing. I kind of thought it might be quite nice to kind of have somewhere to kind of to stick all those images, all those pictures I was taking of what I was working on and how I was improving and things. And I also found it was a really good place to kind of get inspiration and get ideas and see what other people were doing. And so yeah, I still do really like Instagram. I use that a lot. Not so much for posting. I don't post as many because I tend to reserve the actual posting of pictures for the finished stuff. But I use the stories, and I use all. I like just flicking through it and looking at other people's work. It's that's a great resource for things if you are getting into it. It's a great place to get inspiration and just see what other people are doing. And it's a nice place to share what you're working on as well. So I use that quite a lot. And then I also then later on added to the YouTube channel. But that was only ever meant to be a I don't know. I'm not actually really sure what that was ever meant to be. It wasn't meant to be what it, not saying that the channel's like the biggest channel on earth. It isn't, but it's way bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. Way bigger. I didn't think I'd get anywhere. You know, you get a few hundred subscribers. I don't think you'd ever get anywhere near where it is at the minute. Because it wasn't really, partly because I didn't think it would happen, but also it just wasn't really the intention. It started out just mainly because I used to get a lot. I still do, but people messaging me asking me how I've done certain things or whatever. And so I kind of thought, well, maybe it would be easier rather than replying to people all the time if I started putting some tutorial videos together for things. It started out with the Tyranids because people were asking me how I did it, how I did that army, and so yeah, it was just easier to just stick a video together, and I could point people in that direction if they were interested in giving it a go. And then yeah, it got more subscribers than I thought, and I really enjoy it. So it kind of that's become like an extension of my hobby, is doing the YouTube stuff. I do genuinely enjoy it. Yeah, it was never sort of like a. I'm quite happy with that. I think it's quite nice. It's kind of all happened quite organically. I didn't force it. I wasn't trying. I don't think I was trying to do anything with it. It was just a nice way of just sharing a few bits with people. It wasn't really, the intention wasn't to kind of make it into anything particular at the time. And it still isn't really. It's just, I'm just trying to let it all happen naturally without forcing it too much. That's such hard work. Congrats for doing amazing. Can't imagine how long these might take. Quicker than you think. They're not too bad. There's, how many have we got? 25-ish models, and it's taken me about 3 weeks to get to this point. And they're nearly done now. If I could have devoted a bit more time to it, then I probably would have done it quicker, but I'm quite happy with that sort of time frame. But thank you. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Right, I am definitely flagging now. I'm really starting to get tired. So I am going to leave you all to it, I'm afraid. Thanks very much for joining me, though. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to try, as I said, I'll try and do these more often. I do like doing it. And yeah, thanks for keeping me company. And I've said this on the last few lives as well, that we have got the sort of the long form videos are there. They are happening. They're just sort of happening a bit more in the background just at the moment, just because I've got this and I've got a few other bits I'm sorting out in the background. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. There will be some proper full videos coming soon. And yeah, so I kind of apologize. That's kind of been put to one side. And yeah, if you did want to support the channel a little bit, then there is there's a membership, YouTube membership, which gives you access to the Discord, which is, you're all welcome on that. So if you want to have a quick look at that, there should be a link somewhere on the YouTube channel to join that. There's also a Patreon as well if you want to have a quick look at that. I don't really advertise that very often, but it is there if you want to support that. It's not a huge amount, but it does go a massive way to help. And yeah, so if you want to kind of have a look and find that Discord and stuff, then come along and have a chat. You can share pictures of there and all of that sort of stuff. So and yeah, and I said the membership and the Patreon and all that sort of stuff is a great way of kind of supporting things, and it helps me to be able to do the long form videos a bit more often, and allow me to kind of devote a bit more time to it. So so yeah, if you are able to do that, that's a great, massive help. So yeah, but if not, it's just thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for joining me and keeping me company. And as I said, keep an eye out for those other videos, and I will be back on here as soon as I can. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll catch all of you soon. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.